This week I just wanted to do a very short video defining what flatness or going flat means, because there are a lot of assumptions, I guess, and it isn't always super clear. I think I've defined it shortly, briefly in some of my other videos, but I wanted to take a little bit more time and define it more broadly here. And I just want to give you some photographs along the way. So as I'm talking about these different body types and different versions of being flat, I will show you some photos. And these are women that have given their consent to be used as examples of what it means to go flat. So simply what going flat means, if you said I'm going flat or I went flat, what most people would take you to mean is that you had something called aesthetic flat closure, which is now a medical term considered to be normative in the medical community. And what is meant by that is that there is no need for a plastic surgeon, there is no need for reconstruction, no need for saving any skin or fat in order to create a breast mound. And usually it means that your skin is pulled tight, and usually you have some straight scars just in a straight horizontal line across your chest, either all the way across or two separate scars where your breasts used to be. And usually that means there's no dog ears on the side. That is the most common reference when people say I'm going flat or I went flat or I want to go flat. However, that is not the exhaustive definition at all. There are some other options to being flat. First of all, it isn't just people with breast cancer and mastectomy for breast cancer that go flat and that are considered flatties in the flat community. It's anyone with any prophylactic surgeries as well. Second of all, a uni, which is someone that is single-breasted, is also considered a flatty culturally in our community, across all the different smaller groups and versions of the flat community. Unis are accepted as flatties because they are half flat, and half flat means you're welcome in the community. Half flat usually means that it is, like I said, aesthetic flat closure. Not always, however, because a plastic surgeon can be a part of a flat closure surgery. Sometimes you will have a Goldilocks mastectomy in order to achieve semi-flatness, so you might have a little bit more roundness in a mound, or you might just have a little bit more filling on the side where you would have been concave, in order to get a more flat and less concave look, calling that a Goldilocks mastectomy, which does use a little bit of skin and maybe a little bit of fat as well. But the skin would be just from your breast area. It wouldn't be taken from some other part of your body. And it wouldn't involve any liposuction necessarily. So technically, someone with a double Goldilocks after a double mastectomy who had small or even significant breast mounds, even someone that had an A or a B sized breast after mastectomy, after taking all the breast tissue out, would still be considered a flatty. The things that are not considered flat closure or acceptable flat closure is when the surgeon or plastic surgeon leaves extra skin. So when there are skin folds that are meant to be there to be filled by an implant, that is kind of against the code of a flat closure. So the idea of flat closure is that you're getting a tight mound or a tight flat affect without extra skin, without dog ears on the side here, as much as possible. And I think when people think about going flat, before you've ever seen a photograph of a woman that has gone flat, you think that you will look like a man. And you do still have your pectoral muscles as a woman who's gone flat, but our pectoral muscles as women are much smaller than those of men. And men who work out a lot will have bigger pectoral muscles, and similarly women who work out a lot will have bigger pectoral muscles. So you can affect the flatness or depth of your chest by working out a lot or working out more. Women generally tend to have a little bit more concavity on the sides, so we tend to have our sternum as the point that sticks out the most when we've gone flat. And then we have some hollowness over by our ribs, generally speaking, unless you've had that Goldilocks mastectomy to fill in that hollowness. We definitely accept people who have gone, just taken their implants out and gone without the flat closure surgery into the flat community as well. So we're talking about what's technically true and then what's culturally true. So a lot of people will just have their implants taken out and they don't want to bother with a further lengthy surgery to take the extra skin off. Now that's not a flat closure, that would just be an explant without flat closure surgery. And those people are, of course, are considered flatties, and we have a lot of people who explanted without a flat closure surgery to follow up. A lot of them don't like that extra skin and it bothers them, and they do eventually go on to get further surgeries to clean up that skin and tighten it up a little bit. A lot of us nowadays are asking for aesthetic flat closure, which is that tight, single scar, straight scar across the front horizontally. And so you'll see that more and more, and those tend to be pretty neat and trim and attractive, especially to the younger generations that are wanting to go flat. You will see more of an anchor-shaped scar if you have a Goldilocks mastectomy, because that's the shape of the scar that makes it more possible to fold skin and extra fat that's underneath the skin under to pad some of those areas that would have been more concave and add a little bit more of a mound. So the anchor-shaped or wise pattern scar would be the more typical scar to see if you've had a Goldilocks mastectomy. You can be flat and still have a nipple. I haven't mentioned that yet, but there are a few women that still saved their nipples and went completely flat, either with or without a Goldilocks. So there are lots of different ways to be flat, and hopefully these are good demonstrations to you who are maybe thinking about going flat in the future. If you are, then check out some of my other videos about going flat. I have a whole playlist here that I'll link for you to follow, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.